Happy Easter Sunday. This is Mean Dean, and welcome to another edition of Mean Dean's Album of the Week. All right, so on this Easter Sunday, we got a special treat for you. We're going to be featuring Black Sabbath Heaven and Hell in its entirety. This is to celebrate the 45th anniversary of its release. It actually was released 45 years ago on April 18th. Wow, I feel old now. I was actually 18 when it was originally released, so so you can pretty much guess how old I am now. Anyway, all right. So, Heaven and Hell is the ninth studio album by English rock band Black Sabbath. It was released on April 18th, 1980. It is the first Black Sabbath album to feature vocalist Ronnie James Dio, who replaced original vocalist Ozzy Osbourne in 1979. Produced by Martin Birch, the album was a commercial success, particularly in the United States, where it reached number 28 on the Billboard 200 chart and was certified platinum from 1 million sales. In the UK, it sold well enough to be certified silver by the British phonographic industry in April 1982. All right, so let's get right into side one of Black Sabbath, Heaven and Hell. The only place you're going to hear it is exclusively here on YouTube Music Radio with Mean Dean.
Hold on, good things never last. the stars, we blind the sky. Oh, we sailed across the air before we learned to fly. We thought that it could never end.
Happy Easter, everybody. This is Mean Dean, and you're listening to Mean Dean's Album of the Week, featuring Black Sabbath, Heaven and Hell. All right, we just finished up side one of Heaven and Hell. We started off side one with Neon Knights, Children of the Sea followed that, Lady Evil, and the last track, Heaven and Hell, the title track. All right, so I also want to let you know that all music written and arranged by Geezer Butler, Ronnie James Dio, Tony Iommi, and Bill Ward. Lyrics by Dio. So just wanted to kind of let you know that. All right, let's get right into side two of Black Sabbath, Heaven and Hell. And you have it here exclusively on YouTube Music Radio with Mean Dean. And once again, Happy Easter.
Roll me a penny, and I'll make you a dream. You find that life's not always what it seems. No, no. Then think of a Die young, can't you see the writing in the air? Die young, gonna die young. Someone stopped the fear. It's a long way to nowhere, and I'm leaving very soon. On the way, we pass so close to the backside of the moon. Hey, join the traveler if you've got nowhere to go. Hang your head and take my hand. It's the
Happy Easter Sunday, everybody. This is Mean Dean, and you're listening to Mean Dean's Album of the Week, featuring Black Sabbath, Heaven and Hell. We just finished up the album. We started off side 2 with Wishing Well, Die Young followed that, Walk Away, and then Lonely is the Word was the last track. And it's interesting to point out that this was the only Black Sabbath album, the only album ever to feature both Ronnie James Dio and Bill Ward on the same album. Any albums that Dio has recorded since, whether it's with Black Sabbath or with his own band, um, he had um, he had Vinny Appice as the drummer, which they were pretty much like a dynamic duo of sorts. Anyway, so just thought I'd point that out. All right, so once again, happy Easter, everybody. Hope you're all doing well and coloring Easter eggs and whatever have you. All right, so anyway, we want to thank you for joining us for this week's Album of the Week, featuring Black Sabbath, Heaven and Hell. Hard to believe it came out 45 years ago, this past Friday. Wow, 45 years, man. I remember when I first heard the album, I was blown away. All right, well, be sure to join us again in the future for another edition of Mean Dean's Album of the Week. Until then, this is Mean Dean saying, see ya!